Okay, just a quick update. Pulled the new centre section out of the mould, and now has a completely flat rear bulkhead, which is down to my chassis, even though I must admit I'm kind of tempted to put the aluminium plate all the way across the back, because now it is completely flat and it'd be easy to bond it in, so I don't mind it whether I want to flat alley plate it or not. Anyway, roof reduction. So now we have our lovely roof reduction all the way to the front of the car, because the roll cage at the front of the car basically sits very close to the close to this front lip, which is on that line there. Basically the top of the roll hoop is here, and the bars that come up here, rise up and go along here, basically will sit just below here, just inside those point there. So the area that was a plate at the top of the roof, look there, I've now removed the plate that was on the top to allow the fiberglass to drop down here. It doesn't drop below the roof of these bars, so basically I'll reinstall the plate, but I'll just weld it on the underneath instead of on the top, so that's not really an issue. The bars basically crest from here, come up to here, but then go back down again. So basically, because it comes to the back, then this is out of the way. I'll change the chassis on the next one. I've already changed the CAD drawings a bit just to drop the back of the chassis, where the bars at the moment sort of come up, do a single curve and then come back straight and down. Basically I'll raise the bars up, come down across, giving you the maximum helmet room, and then I'll bend them back down again, and I'll lower the crossbar that's at the top here. I'll lower that down another, probably about an inch, and just have a double bent bar on the top there. Just makes it easy, just gives you the most amount of headroom. That's all I'm worried about. This here, this drop here is nowhere lower in the centre of the original tubes anyway, so plus these bars are a lot higher than they are on my last car, so pretty much there'll be a lot more room. And now I've got my forced induction top piece, so that's pretty much there. My original box piece didn't have the recessed panels for the front, so now I've got the separate panels that just bolt in there, so I've got access to both sides. Looks like I'm going to do the same as the Wayne's car, put the battery in the passenger side, which is going to be here. So if you want access to the battery terminals, I'll just be able to remove this panel to get at them. If you want access to your foot panel, your adjusters on your pedals, balance bar, whatever, remove that one, get to them. So no upside down the car to get to it. Fuses are definitely not going to go behind these panels here anymore. We're going to have them accessible from the cabin itself. Not overly keen about if it's wet and it's dark, you lose your lights for whatever reason. You have to get out, get a screwdriver or Allen key, whatever you fit them, remove a panel to change a fuse. So basically we're having what 4 headlamps, pretty much as it was in the GTR, but effectively there'll be 4 individual fuses. So if any one of those headlamps happens to have a problem, you'll still have the other 3. You won't lose like all one side or all left side, which I think is how it's being at the moment. Basically an individual fuse for all four units, and for the sides as well. So sided left, sided right also has the same fuse. Okay, that's that. Okay, if we come back to the original mould, just 2 seconds. Let's see. Okay, it's the mould, it's not the actual part, but you now get the idea of where I'm going. This is obviously the top half of the mould. I've got an old rooftop which is underneath the thing there, you can just about see it. That's the secondary part of that mould, which is why I had to scrap the old front. I needed the roof section for the mould, plus it hadn't got these rebates and other stuff and bits and pieces, so that's basically going to be the view there. And you can see where the height's coming. We've got from here, which is obviously, about 3 inches, which is about 3 inches here. So I've got 3 inches all the way in there. Should be, a reasonable ram air effect at high speed, so we should get a little bit of a pressure increase, or at ridiculously high speeds. So might be advantages, might not. I don't know. We shall have to see. But basically, you'll probably see a difference on the pressure sensor inside the engine, whereas normally flat out you'd have just a high vacuum because your foot's flat to the floor. Oh, sorry, no vacuum because your foot's flat to the floor. You'll probably go from a vacuum to no vacuum, foot on the floor, and you might just get 1 or 2 psi kind of boost levels. So we may have to have a 5th and 6th gear information to the ECU. It does interpolate it anyway. When it's at certain speeds, then it's going to actually take a little bit of the advance off, because you start to run into actually running into a little bit of boost at high speed. Then you really need to retard it a tad, just in case you get any problems with detonation. So, but it's all doable. That's what's there. And let's see. And obviously it's my nice little eBay find. Got a mil spec AIM Pro, which is great. So with the loom and a few other bits and pieces. So that'll be the basis of the dashboard, which I said would be completely new. So okay, there you go.